Today we're taking a closer look at Citizen Kane, released in 1941, a film that has often been hailed as the greatest film ever made by Orson Welles. But is it still deserving of the title in today's context? Citizen Kane is a remarkable movie that marked Orson Welles' debut as a feature film director. Orson Welles took the roles of writer, director, and even star of the film when he was only 25 years old. Citizen Kane tells the story of Charles Foster Kane, a man of immense wealth and influence in the world of media. But beyond the surface, it delves into profound themes like ambition, love, and the hollowness of wealth. Now, what's interesting is the controversy surrounding the film's release. Many saw undeniable parallels between Kane and real-life media magnate William Randolph Hearst. Both amassed fortunes, had private palaces, and manipulated the media. Hearst was so upset with his depiction that he refused to run advertisements for this movie in his newspapers and radio stations. But here's the twist. Despite its initial box office failure, Citizen Kane found its glory in the 1950s. It earned Academy Award nominations and eventually received an honorary Oscar for Orson Welles. But it wasn't just a story, it was the groundbreaking techniques that set it apart. Welles and his team pushed the boundaries of cinematography, introducing deep focus and low-key lighting techniques. This allowed every element within the frame to become part of the narrative, immersing the audience in the world they were crafting. The dedication to visual storytelling in Citizen Kane is simply astonishing. And let's not forget, Welles chose to stick with black and white even as color started to creep into the scene during the 1930s. Remind you, this film came out 1941. This decision was intentional, giving the film a sharp and timeless look. Speaking of dedication, Orson Welles poured his heart and soul into this film. He worked incredibly long hours, wore uncomfortable contact lenses, and even directed from a wheelchair after an on-set injury regarding the contact lenses and stairs. Now, let's talk about the heart of the film. Rosebud is a captivating element representing Kane's yearning for innocence and love. The interviews with the reporter offer different perspectives on Kane, highlighting the complexity of the character. And when we finally learn that Rosebud is his childhood sled, the emotional weight it carries is profound. It's more than an object. It's a symbol of Kane's innocence and a time when he felt genuine love and connection. But here's where opinions diverge. While Citizen Kane is often celebrated as a cinematic masterpiece, not everybody shares that view. Some find it outdated, and to be fair, it is a film that requires attention and patience. In my opinion, the film has a good plot, but saying it is the greatest film ever made is unfortunately outdated. The film was no doubt revolutionary and set a precedent for creativity of newer films. Take, for example, Stanley Kubrick, Martin Scorsese, and Quentin Tarantino, and so many others. The plot was easy to follow and the message was clear. But there was one scene in particular that I found very cringe. It was the scene where Thatcher was reading the newspapers from the company that Kane had just bought, and he would look at the camera for a second and growl.
It would be fun to run a newspaper. I think it would be fun to run a newspaper.
That's probably the worst thing I ever seen in cinematic history. Anywho, I spoke to a film graduate student about the movie, and he thought the film was alright. So in conclusion, Citizen Kane may not retain the title of the greatest film ever made in today's context, but its impact and significance in the history of cinema remained undeniable. The narrative depth, intricate symbolism, and exploration of the human condition continue to resonate with audience. So whether you'd consider it the greatest or not, Citizen Kane has left an enduring legacy that continues to shape the way films are crafted and appreciated. It's a timeless exploration of identity, relationships, and the pursuit of happiness, reminding us that the true value of connections and memories, and that money can't buy happiness. So that's it for today's deep dive into Citizen Kane. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.